management world in Dublin, and I'm lucky enough to be with Hans Wittig, who is the MD for Equity Research for JP Morgan. And he's just come off the first panel discussion looking at the transformation of operators in the digital age. Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure.
What were the keys coming out of the discussion for you, Hans?
I thought we covered a scenario of potential transformation for the industry. I think the stage was set by Keith's opening address, where he explored his idea that the industry is facing very radical transformative change and what might be done about it. So I think the focus of the panel obviously was to contribute at the angle of the financial community or of the analyst community, broader analyst community. And one criticism that is often leveled at financial analysts is that, and the companies that they investigate, is that they are too short-termist, and that the short-termism that is inherent in the financial markets will undermine operators' willingness and ability to take the necessary steps to preempt the kind of scenarios that Keith is talking about. In particular, the rapid cannibalization of legacy voice and messaging revenues by over-the-top players. What Keith positively has pointed out, which I agree with, is opportunities in the broader enabling space. So my main contribution, I hope, was to bring across that the financial community is not averse to investment, because any sensible investor will understand that the only way for returns to grow is that over time the asset base needs to grow. And so there is a willingness to support investment. However, there is a great fear, a great risk aversion out there, which in telecoms is magnified by multiple special factors, like the nature of the rapidly changing technology, the particularly high uncertainty when it comes to regulation, and the fact that we are in an area of often latent demand. And so operators don't feel confident in this environment to invest. And that's, I think, what we need to address.
And I mean, the discussion, although it was this whole, how do you transform digitally, how do you take advantage of this as an operator, one of the things that I was interested to talk to you about is I thought your view seemed very restrained compared to some of the other analysts. And is that because of your main client base, FT and Deutsche Telekom, that you focus on personally?
No, we do look at the whole industry, and in fact we also look at what is happening outside of Europe, clearly to put things in perspective. So it is true that the typical continental European incumbent faces a problem of legacy revenue erosion that is typically not mitigated by growth, and the regulatory context is particularly onerous because the top line is deflated by regulatory cuts or removal of historical subsidies, let's say, and at the same time there is limited growth in the fixed line business. However, it is of course a concern that at the time of strong growth in mobile data, operators are not growing their revenues in Europe, as on average European revenues are declining 4% a year. That's the average across all operators. What I would say is that when we looked at the over-the-top cannibalization issue, our own conclusions were that operators will be able to manage the decline, and in that managing the decline sentence, you can put the emphasis on managing, which is the nice way of putting it, or decline, or you put the emphasis on decline, which is the negative way of putting it. And I guess at this point in time, given what investors in operator investment programs are, I think managing the decline is about as good as you can get it. So what could change it is of interest, and I like the constructive parts of Keith's book in there, because I think what we want to do obviously is not just lament, we want to offer a look at what could change.
Now, you work for a bank, and one of the discussions seems very relevant on all the operators are publicly listed companies, and a lot of the contenders, the new digital players, they're privately held companies in a lot of cases, and certainly a lot of the high growth ones have been privately held. Do you think the public listing is a fundamental inhibitor to the operator changing or moving as fast as some of these other players?
I almost have to decline and comment on that as a financial analyst. I do think that the financial community is willing to support investment. So I think there is, of course, a grey zone where I think where operators don't feel confident, where financial markets will, I would say, escalate or reinforce. It's a negative feedback loop, let's say, but it can be a positive feedback loop as well. So I think that inherently, I think financial markets, the way they are operate today, with the lack of visibility they have, are not supportive, not highly supportive of longer-term investment decisions that are characterized by uncertainty. If there is low level of uncertainty, financial markets are very supportive, which is a bit paradoxical because financial markets are markets where risk is being priced, and in theory equity investments should be the ones that where people are willing to take risks. But one issue I think we have is the extreme fragmentation of in the investor community, where only rarely investors will have a real say in what all companies will do. And we are trying to help operators, of course, to organize feedback by the investment community and play it back to them. And I hope that we will be better at maybe encouraging them to take risks that will protect the longer term businesses.
Okay, Hans, thank you very much for the time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.